Hello and welcome to the All About Pigeons podcast. We have a very special episode for you today, so stick around. Today we're going to be talking about youth in the hobby with Evelyn and her son Russell Meek. Evelyn is a member of the Arizona Pigeon Club, and she also participates in one-loft races. Her son Russ is a member of the NPA, the Arizona Pigeon Club, Bullhead City Roller Club, the Chinese Owl Club, the Rare Breeds Club, Western Trumpeter Club, and the Mojave County 4-H Club. We're going to talk about youth in the hobby and what it's like from the perspective of the parent and the youth themselves. Thank you both for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
So first thing, what sparked the interest in pigeon keeping and who got the pigeon bug first?
So I would say that I got it first. My mom actually does like when people find stuff that is kind of odd, they call her and she goes and rescues it. About probably 3 years back, she got a call that somebody found a white pigeon or bird in somebody's yard. So she went and picked it up. And then we were rehabbing it because it's been out a while and it was lost. We were rehabbing it and she figured and found that there was a band on the ankle of the bird. And she looked up and read the band. She found the owner of it and he lived about probably 3 blocks away from us. And we went and returned the bird. And that breed we found out was called Birmingham Rollers. I actually own those now. And he started me with those, found more people that in our area with them, and a bunch of other people started me with them, and that was the first breed I started with.
So it was already going on around you and from helping a pigeon up on its feet, and then you go into the fun stuff of building a loft and everything else.
Yeah.
He had showed us the birds, he let them fly, and we were just in awe. We were amazed. We had never seen anything like it. They're doing their spinning in the air, and it was just fascinating. And then he was like, well, I'll start you up if you build a kit, or a loft. Russ did. He got right on it. My husband helped him build his first kit box, and then he got started up with Birmingham Rollers.
That's just so cool that something like that was already going on. Would you say 3 miles away, pretty much right in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
And I was not hesitant about pigeons because growing up all through my childhood, I would be that kid that would go catch a pigeon with a dangling broken wing and rehab it and help it. I always had a pigeon in my house at any random time.
So, Evelyn, you compete in one loft races.
Yes.
You're also a member of the Arizona Pigeon Club All Breed. Are there any other breeds that you have besides the racing homers?
Yes, actually, I just started in German beauty homers because one of the fanciers in the Arizona Pigeon Club was having some health problems and getting out of them. So I'm fascinated with their big wattles and their big sears, and I just think they're really cool looking. And so now I have my own show breed as well.
Okay, so you do plan on showing them.
Possibly.
And how has your one loft racing career been going for you?
So this was my very first season, and I think it went pretty well. The loft managers called me because to congratulate me because my bird did so good. There was 1,400 birds in the beginning in this one loft race, and mine ended up getting overall number 4 for average speed. She came in the money on, I think, 4 races. She won me some money, and now I'm hooked and I'm already raising babies for the next round of races.
Was this the first one loft race you participated in?
Yes, first ever. And
Wow.
I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, but I did learn a lot, and now I'm super excited about it.
Hey, you know what? Your pigeon knew what it was doing, but now
Yeah.
you set the bar so high. You gotta hit that fourth place at least on every one loft race you're going into.
It's gonna be hard.
So, Russ, you're a member of the Bullhead City Roller Club and the NPA. So these are showing clubs and competition clubs. I'm guessing that you're competing with the Birmingham Rollers.
Not yet with the Birmingham Rollers. I actually have a friend who's in the roller club and he's trying to get me to do it. I just don't know if I'm too ready for it yet with the flying kit, but I might do it. I'm just not sure yet.
I know that you're showing with the All Breeds Club. You have a lot of wins with the Arizona Pigeon Club. You've got first and second place before, and a lot of other places with that. What breeds are you showing right now?
I don't show them all, just the young that I get out of any of them. I actually own 24 different breeds of pigeons, and it starts with the Birmingham Rollers, and then it goes to racing pigeons, throwbacks, old German owls, German helmets, West of England tumblers, Modinas, Warburg shield croppers, parlor rollers, Romanian naked necks, Mindian fantails, horseman thief powders, white homers, cormorant tumblers, Chinese owls, Jacobins, English trumpeters, standard fantails, figuritas, nuns, and then my mom owns the German beauty homers, and I also do American show racers. And then the newest breeds that I just got are the Budapest short-faced tumblers, Warsaw butterflies, and the archangels.
Oh, so you're saying that that pigeon bug bit you pretty bad then, huh?
Yes, very bad.
That takes a lot of support from your mother. That's a lot of breeds you have there.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
That's what it is there. Out of all the different breeds and all the different pigeons, do you have like a favorite pigeon?
My favorite pigeon is a yellow West of England that I raised. I bred it and it actually won me grand champion in the Mojave County Fair. The best of its class and the best pigeon in conformation.
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome.
It also has one at Arizona Pigeon Club.
Oh yeah, and it's one in that
Mhm.
too as well.
Evelyn, I'm guessing that your favorite pigeon is Go Girl right now.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That pigeon's buying feed for everybody else.
Yes, exactly. It's supporting our hobby for another year.
So we hear this a lot when we're talking to people about the decline when it comes to youth in the hobby, whether it is like racing, rolling, showing. So Russ, as a junior, what do you think pigeon clubs or organizations can be doing to attract more juniors to the hobby?
I feel like to attract more juniors to the hobby, they should include a junior class within clubs. It should mostly be judged on how the kid takes care of the bird, the overall care of the bird, not just to the standard of perfection as they do in the adult classes.
So kind of like more towards like the animal husbandry.
Yes.
So in 4-H, I understand it's a lot about holding the bird and explaining some questions and answers, and that can kind of get to the core of it. How would they go about judging as far as like the animal husbandry that's taking place with the junior?
You can't really tell the size of the cage unless you showed a picture or something, but how the bird is with its over like weight, its feather quality, if there's anything wrong with the bird, if there's like disease, feather mites or something like that.
That's an interesting answer. Yeah, I definitely think if you're not giving that place for them to compete with other juniors
Yeah.
by giving them that, that would absolutely make it more open and welcoming to them to do that. Now back to you, Evelyn, on this. As a parent, is there anything that you'd recommend that pigeon clubs and organizations do to make it easier for the parent to have their kid participate?
So I do think clubs should try to maybe blend more into 4-H to get youth interested. And actually, the Arizona Pigeon Club is pretty much working on that now, which is I'm super excited and impressed about. Also, my big thing that I'm seeing as a 4-H, one of the like small stock and pigeon leaders, a lot of parents are just reluctant to get into it because pigeons have this bad rap. They're known as rats with wings and other derogatory terms. And I think we really just need to educate more people, try to break down the negative stigma and hopefully get more parents to see really how great pigeons can be and for their kids to get them to be more accepting of them and get into the hobby.
It's another thing too, I guess when you think about 4-H, it's usually, oh, cows, maybe chickens and turkeys, but in some areas you do, but in the areas that I've been around, you don't see a lot of the pigeons being represented that well.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the idea of mixing the 4-H with the all breeds club. And it goes back to like what Russ was saying too. You got to know that you are taking care of the bird, that you know your bird. And 4-H kind of eliminates any kind of, they'll ask you questions while you're holding your bird. Why is this important to look here? And that's really good. I think that would be helpful overall to the hobby and implementing a junior class so the juniors can compete with each other. Absolutely. So Russ, how old are you?
I am 14.
So you got a pretty busy life, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So how do you balance your involvement with, showing all these pigeons, training them, taking care of them with everything else you got going on in your life?
With all my stuff I do for preparation for going to shows and after shows, I take them out of the lofts that they are in and I keep them in a different cage by themselves to get them cage ready for about a week ahead of the show, tell the show, and then I bring them, show them, and then after I would quarantine them for at least 3 weeks. For balancing it, I don't really do a lot of stuff with my birds in the morning unless it's on weekends or anything or summer because I'm in school. For the most part, I take care of my birds after school. I just get home after school, then just do that, take care of all my animals. That's pretty much how the end of my day goes.
How many lofts do you have right now?
I would say I probably have about eight,
Oh, wow, really?
a couple different breeding cages.
So your parents are definitely supportive of your hobby. That's great.
He
Yes.
he and my husband built a big double walk-in loft. So that's the main one, but he also has kind of like a hodgepodge of roller kits and little lofts and quarantine areas, and then he has breeding cages too.
That's another aspect of it too. I know there's other schools, but there's one that's been kind of highlighted in the past on some documentaries about that school in California where they have pigeons as like they have a loft on the campus. And even the building of the loft was done by the students, right? So they had all these different aspects of, hey, now they're learning how to build and how to plan and everything else. And then when they get into pigeons, and of course, there's animal husbandry and everything else. So even the aspects of building a loft, pretty big. I mean, I know you said some of them are smaller roller style ones, but every time I build another loft, I take things that I didn't like about the other one and I implement that into how I'm going to change the next one I build. So if you have eight of them, I'm sure that last one is probably pretty tip top.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually making that one a little double with the bars so they can, like, the flying breeds can come back in on their own.
Do you get your own loft, Evelyn?
I do. I just converted actually one of my chicken coops.
There you
So
go.
that's my racing loft.
How many racing homers do you have?
I have about 8 pairs. I had actually acquired them after the 2023 season. They were racers that the breeders did not want back because they did not place well. They didn't make money, but they had all made it back from 400 miles. So I was like, I'm going to try this.
You never know what they make.
Right.
So since you're both kind of new to the hobby, what has been the biggest struggle that you guys have encountered so far?
Yeah, the cost of feed. If you're actually gonna buy quality food to make sure your pigeons are eating quality feed instead of like giving them chicken scratch, which I don't do, the feed is very expensive.
Yeah, you'll be paying for it, especially with that many birds too. That'll really hit you hard.
Yeah.
And he pays for his own feed.
Oh wow, hey, that's good.
There's some other struggles for me. One of the biggest struggles is the heat here. Some days we're the hottest place in the country, unfortunately. So we have a lot to prepare for the summer. Blower fans and automatic waterers, and then you really got to watch out when you're using automatic waterers for pigeons. You don't want to be spreading canker or anything. And it's a lot. Another struggle is after we had been acquiring new birds, we probably didn't quarantine as long as we should. We actually ended up with PMV and had to make like an emergent run to Anaheim, California. We went to Jed's and got all the supplies we needed. Now we vaccinate everyone, but PMV was just awful to go through and watch. It was a nightmare. And then Russ wanted to be showing and he couldn't show for a while because we had our property like on lockdown, but we're all done with that. Thank goodness everyone's vaccinated. And then my other struggle is I do not like to cull, even when it's like necessary, like someone is sick. I just don't want to cull them. And so I'll either have Russ or my husband do it. That's a huge struggle for me because even when sometimes I know it's necessary, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, sometimes I mean it's a matter of what's actually better for the bird. I feel you on the P&V. Anytime you have a sickness come through, and that's so hard to just recover from.
It was devastating.
It's really hard to come back from that. I mean, I know some people just hang up their hat and be like, "Well, it's not for me."
Yes.
But you really stick with it, and then you learn. Honestly, it does happen to everybody, no matter what people say. I
Mhm.
never have something come through my loft, whatever. Like it really happens to everybody. Even it might not be P&V or it might not be like a lot of deaths or something, but everybody always gets something. Everything gets sick. When my stuff happened to me, it was a mystery. That's when you do all your research, right? That's when you're looking up and
Yep.
reading all this stuff. You become an expert.
Yeah, and it forces you to really learn a lot.
So maybe even specifically with the P&V or just coming into the hobby new, what have been some of the most helpful resources that you guys have come across?
You said the magazines and talking to other fanciers
Yeah,
at
talking
shows.
to not like older, but more people that have been doing it longer. They have a lot more knowledge on the pigeon keeping.
Like you, Phil.
Oh, there's a lot more knowledgeable people than me out there. So do you have like a specific mentor? I know you said you have a neighbor that lives pretty close that kind of got you started. Would you consider him a mentor?
Yeah.
And practically the whole Arizona Pigeon
Yeah.
Club.
All of you guys,
He
yeah.
talks to so many fanciers.
I think that there is this decline of youth in the hobby, and the people that are in these clubs are all about trying to help the youth. Anything they can do to encourage them, help them in any way, answer questions. That really helps a lot. It is a really old hobby, right? Like it's been going on for thousands of years. There's no point for someone to try to reinvent the wheel, especially if someone that you know has already been doing it for 40 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or breed specific questions. You can get all those answers from being in a club. Being in the club has been really helpful for myself as well. With the 4-H, you've done demonstrations on pigeons. Do you have any other plans on promoting the pigeon hobby?
Just telling other kids. I know it's harder like nowadays because you got to find people that are into keeping or having animals because a lot of kids nowadays are just on video games and that's it. You got to find people that are interested in trying to get into the hobby, not only just kids, but other people to get anybody into it because we want to keep the hobby going. For demonstration to advertise the hobby, just tell people about it, give them information, explain the hobby to them, show them all your breeds or if you can, just so that you can get them interested in it.
How are you received at school when you talk about your pigeons? Are people kind of like rats with wings or have no idea?
Some people, I mean, they like it because a couple kids at my school have animals like chickens and stuff like that, not pigeons, but they kind of like it and think it's cool. Others are like, "Why do you do it? They're just pigeons. Why? What's special about them? You can just go catch them on the street." And I tell them they're not just the ones you can go catch on the street. You can't catch the ones that I have on the street.
Yeah, if there was parlor rollers just going around the city right now, I think people would know more about them.
Oh yeah, me too. I would be all over in those parking lots. You would catch me in a Walmart parking lot.
Now that's interesting though. I mean, you said like the magic word too, because that's what everybody says, oh, the kids are all on their video games. It's like, I mean, it's always something, video games are not, maybe back in the day, they'd always complain about kids playing hopscotch too much or something.
Yeah.
It's a growing and developmental phase. And I do believe that even if you can just, open someone's eyes to just the different breeds, just the different breeds out there, just to kind of let them know that if they come across it again in their life, to kind of pay attention.
There's a girl in his 4-H group. She's never done pigeon before, never owned a pigeon, and she really is fascinated with his Modinas. And now she talked her parents into having one, and he's gonna gift her one on Tuesday. And her dad's already building a little aviary for it. So that's kind of cool. He likes to start up kids for free and help out. Also, when we have pet quality pigeons or mixed breeds, we've been giving them away for free to people in the city limits who just like want a pet bird. And then usually when they come here to pick up the bird, they'll see the lofts and they'll ask all kinds of questions and usually be pretty fascinated with the pigeons in general.
He's gifting a bird, and then that girl's father is actively building a pigeon loft right now. So it does take the support of the parent. For us, that's a lot of respect to you, man, that you're buying your own pigeon food too, because that is expensive, and it shows where you prioritize it. Respect that. And so, Evelyn, you're a pigeon fancier yourself and a parent of a pigeon fancier.
Mhm.
So, what advice would you give to other parents who have kids that are getting interested in the hobby?
Again, just not be afraid of the stigma and the bad reputation that pigeons have. Support your kid and maybe research the different breeds with them, enter them in maybe like a small stock 4-H group or in one of the pigeon clubs. Even if you don't have land to build a big outdoor loft or anything, you could always do a small aviary or even just a cage in the house if they just want to get, one pigeon for showmanship or anything for 4-H. Or I just feel like they shouldn't have to have a lot of land, but if they do, that'd be great, to help them build a loft or anything like that. Just be into it with your kid and find the different hobbies there are.
When I do presentations on it too, I try to say that, look, you can teach your kids all the same aspects of animal husbandry that somebody on a farm full of cattle does.
Yes.
Food, water, how to keep it clean. You're going to watch life come into the world. You're going to watch how they take care of it. And you can do all that in an apartment. You can do it in a cage with one pair of birds. You can watch all that. Your kid can experience all that.
Yes, exactly. And that's like so educational for kids.
I mean, obviously, you must see some benefits for you to support your son in such a big way, right? To do all this.
Yeah, I do. He definitely has a lot of responsibility. I don't want to bash my older son, but my other son is just kind of like, oh, I don't want animals. It's too much work. And then Russ is like, I love animals and I don't care how much work it is, and I'm going to do it. and he's out there all the time with his animals and taking care of them. He's very meticulous. So just the responsibility he has shown is impressive to me. The fact that he buys all of his own feed. I do help him sometimes with grit or supplements and like medications, and of course traveling to shows like when we are going to Tucson next weekend.
That's a whole other monster right there. So Arizona's a pretty big state. The clubs that we host are typically around, wherever the members want to host it. You guys are up there in the northern part of Arizona, and you're going to be driving
Yes.
down to the southern part of Arizona. You said it was like a 7 hour drive that you're doing this Saturday, right?
Yep, to the swap and sell, it'll be about 6 hours, but we're of course going a little further to go pick up pigeons first because he wants to get into parlor tumblers.
But most drives are pretty far for you too, even when
Yes.
the ones in Phoenix, and you guys are always at all the different shows. There must be something there that you see beneficial to your
Yes.
son, and that's why you're doing all this.
Yes, we really love the Arizona Pigeon Club. It's so good for him too. I just feel like it's good and wholesome and educational. So I'll do whatever it takes, as long as he's happy and enjoying it and being responsible with it.
What kind of future plans do you have with your pigeons, Evelyn?
So, like my goals and stuff.
Yeah, you're gonna probably keep going with these one loft races, right? Since you can't do less than fourth place from now on.
Yes. So I definitely want to breed quality racers, not just for speed, but also for endurance. I held back my good hen from the 400-mile race just because I wanted to guarantee that I got her back and could breed her. Now I want to push the limits and try to get some birds that can do the 400-mile race and do well. I want to enter into more one loft races, like maybe someone had mentioned a San Diego one, someone mentioned the Hoosier Classic. So I've kind of been looking them up and exploring like different one loft races. I'm just all into the race. I'm hooked.
Are there any racing clubs in your area that you could join up with?
Actually, I don't think there are, just because again, we're way up here in like northwestern Arizona, so we're kind of far from everything else. I haven't looked too much into it, but I honestly don't think there's club racing.
We're really lucky here in the States that we have so many one loft races. I think that really helps with these situations like that where you don't have a club you can race with, but you can always send them out to the one loft.
Yeah.
So you want to do the more one loft races, and you just started getting into the German beauty homers. Do you plan on sticking with that breed, or do you want to try other breeds as far as showing and try to get into the showing game a little more?
I really like the German beauty homers, and I don't even know if I'll show them. I mean, I probably will since I'm taking my son to the shows anyway. I should show them. I just hadn't thought of that much.
Have there been any other breeds that have kind of caught your eye that you want to play around with later on down the road if you see them?
Yes, like Russell wants magpies, and I think they're really cool looking.
They really are.
I really like his Jacobins. He only has one pair now, so I've been kind of helping him try to get them to breed. I'm interested in rare breeds. He has a few rare breeds, like the frillbacks and naked necks and stuff like that. But I think I would like to, if I did get more into showing or anything, I would focus on probably something that's rare.
So yeah, the magpies definitely are a very unique breed, real beautiful bird.
So another one of my biggest goals is to get Russell to the NPA Nationals next year because he really wants to show there and I want to help make it happen. So we would just probably, save up some money for that and plan ahead. Another goal of mine, just keep meeting new friends in the pigeon hobby. I've met so many great people, and so has Russell. A goal is to keep our lofts healthy and survive the heat because that's a huge thing here for us. One of the most important goals is basically to try and keep getting other people involved, new people into the hobby, get people informed and aware of the hobby and get rid of that bad reputation that pigeons have. Is we need to let people know that they are not all feral pests and disease carrying rats with wings and stuff. It just infuriates me that people just don't know and they assume that stuff.
If it's next year, will you think you'll be able to show any birds at the national?
Oh, yeah, I probably would. I think I would be interested in actually showing some of my racing homers in the sporting categories and then my one breed of German beauty homers.
And because you guys are in like one of the hottest places in the country, are there any tips or tricks that you've come across that do help keep your birds in your loft cool during those hot seasons?
Yes, we have deep shade. We don't build anything facing the west. We use blower fans pretty much from the end of May until about end of August. So we have a bunch of those like flood fans that you get from like Home Depot. We have basically one for every loft at least. And then I also have to use it for my chicken coops and stuff. This year we were going to play around with portable swamp coolers and see if that helped. With my chickens, I use misters, but for of course for the pigeons, we don't want them wet or anything. But yeah, the fans, the shade, and then also really important here in the summer is we start up the automatic watering systems. We're pretty meticulous about clean water, so we only use the automatic water during the summer when it's like survival mode. But all year, the rest of the year, we change our waters manually because we're adding apple cider vinegar and sometimes we're adding red cell and supplements and stuff like that.
So outside temperature, how hot does it get?
They say like on our hottest days, we're like 128 or something like that. But and it's very dry too. We're like in a valley. Honestly, our cars and our thermometers outside will say that we're like, 131 sometimes. It's crazy. It's survival mode.
How cool can you keep the inside of the lofts on days like that?
We actually had a temperature gauge out there on the hottest days. I think I want to say it was one teens in there, which
Mhm.
to me is too hot, but the pigeons are actually pretty hardy, we've found, to the heat, more so than like my chickens. I don't think we lost any to heat.
That's pretty good when you get that hot. That is insane.
Yeah, it's kind of miserable, but the rest of the year we have pretty great weather and we don't have to deal with snow.
Right, you probably never get freezing water, do you?
No, uh-uh. Our usual coldest night of the year will be right around 32.
That's the headache that we deal with all the time out here. It's just dump all the waters at night and refill them during the morning because it just all turns to ice. So Russ, how about you? You're competing in shows and you're doing really well in that. What are some of your long-term goals?
For a long-term thing, I feel like everybody gets out of it at some point, but then they always, if you're really true into it and you really like the hobby, they get back into it. I don't really see myself getting out of it unless something financially comes up. Everybody's going to start with a bunch of breeds, but you can't just keep 24 different breeds like I have right now. I feel like a few people just figure out like three breeds they like and they focus and get really good quality birds with a couple breeds they want to focus on. That's what I want to do is just over time focus on a few breeds that I really like and get away from the other ones and just focus on getting better birds in the different breeds that I really like.
Hey man, that's pretty wise right there, really. There's a lot of fanciers that still keep 24 breeds later on down the road.
And then there's also one other thing that I want to do, which is to save up money to go to the NPA show and also the California pageants of pigeons.
Yeah, that Grand National, that is a heck of a show. And I have not been to the pageant yet, but I've never heard anybody say anything but good things about it.
Yeah, and I also want to bring back the market pigeon back into the Mojave County Fair. The last person who did it, it has been about 31 or 32 years since somebody's last done it at our fair. And so I plan to do it this year.
So would that be some of the utility breeds like Kings?
Yeah, the Utility Kings.
Oh, okay.
He didn't mention it in his list of showbirds, but he now has white utility kings. We're trying to build up the loft of them so he can do that for fair.
Yeah, that's right. Because 4-H has market turkeys, and
Mhm.
that's a whole different category too. Yeah,
Yep,
that's right.
and that's actually how he's been supporting his pigeon hobby and paying for his own feed is last year he auctioned his market chicken he raised and he got $2,000 for that chicken.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah. So it's paying for his pigeon feed.
Hey, that's a good way of doing it right there. That's leading into another thing. So that's great.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming up against the clock here, but I want to thank you both for coming on and talking. I really hope that this episode specifically encourages parents and encourages youth to work together on this. I really appreciate you coming on and talking. Thanks so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
so
having
much.
us.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the All About Pigeons podcast. Please help the pigeon hobby by telling your fellow club members or other pigeon friends about the podcast, and make sure to leave a good review or at least a 5-star for the podcast wherever you listen. If you have a topic or a person you want to hear more about on the podcast, or if you yourself would like to be a guest, just send an email to allaboutpigeonspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.